Hi guys, welcome to the channel for new battle report. So this is the last battle that I played in 2023. So before I start the battle report, I wish you all the best for the upcoming year. Thanks for following my channel. Thanks for the positive feedback that I receive on the channel. And yeah, I wish you the best for your game year, but also and mostly for your private life. So this battle, I was really happy to basically end on a physical table and not online. Online is nice as well, but obviously the main reason why we play this game is for the miniatures. So we like also to move the miniatures and to have them painted. So really nice to end up this way. I ended up playing against my usual opponent, Lichmeister, who was playing Beastards. Let's move on to the list. So I played, first of all, the general on the seat of authority with the Lamasus Scholar, so I felt I want to try out to bring an additional mage but still keep the Ashuruk mage, so another combination, still the cheap BSB, the same core, and this time the 6 anointed boss and double a titan, this time a shooty titan, Naftator, so it's a bit more cheaper. I think it's 470, the right price, and then the walking earthquake and yeah, the second anointed unit basically. Okay, my opponent, for what I remember, he was playing Master Druidism with Binding Scroll, then he had the Chieftain with the 2-up with the Eye of Dominance going to go into the Longhorn to give them basically Stubborn, so Bodyguard. Then he had a Minnow Lord with Resilience 6 and the 4-up Regen with the Crown of Autocracy, Great Weapon, Cleansing Light, big block of Ride the Horn, big block of Mongrel with the Minnow Lord inside, 2 times the Dog, 5 Razor Tusk, Herd, 39 Longhorn with Great Weapon, the main unit, obviously very expensive, but also very effective in combat, and the fact that he has so many bodies with Druidism makes the unit really hard to get killed. 2 times Ambushing Longhorn, a unit of 10. I like this unit, as you will see in the battle. They're not so easy to manage in comparison to Ambushing Wildhorn, because they have strength 5 attack, they have a better discipline, so they are not so easy to get rid of. And then 2 Cyclops, really like the monster. I think it's very resilient with MR3 plus the ward save. It's pretty hard to kill from distance, and then it does catapult shot, which is really nice. It's divine as well, so it's effective in all matchups basically. It's good against single model, good against big unit. And then it's a decent monster in combat, so really like what it brings to the table for the points basically. And it makes the idea of this list, because we build it together since we are playing in a team tournament together, basically the idea of this list is to be able to play against a shooty matchup as well. And as you can see, it's not so easy to get rid or to get points in this list. For shooty list you have the monsters, but they are not so expensive and they have a ward save, and other than that it's bigger unit where you don't take, it's not so easy to take points other than the chaff. We try to play the new secondary objective that is in contention for ETC this year. We wanted to try that out, and we tried out with a Dawn Assault. So basically it's similar to Breakthrough, but you place a target. So let's take an example. If I drop for first turn all my army, after I drop, so after I finish my last drop, I need to put the marker inside his deployment zone, and then it's like a second target. Basically at the end of the battle I need to have a scoring unit inside the 6, but not, it doesn't count for his scoring unit. So basically each of us has his own second target, so to say. So I have one in his deployment zone where I need to get scoring unit, and he has one in my deployment zone where he needs his scoring unit. So basically an advantage for him, because it's similar to a Breakthrough, and he has 2 ambushing scoring unit, and below he has spell selection for both. Okay, let's move on to the matchup analysis. So obviously it's similar to a Breakthrough, the secondary objective, so he will have an advantage on that. Deployment I think is not too bad for me, because it allows me to avoid a pure frontal fight where the Beastard will be superior, so I think at least that's that. My Occultism won't do much. MR3 Cyclops, no other single model, big blocks that can heal, so not the best match for Occultism, and also the Bastion. Dawn Assault makes our deployment predictable, obviously. Dangerous fight for the Bastion. I think, yeah, most of his big units are dangerous for my Bastion, so I need to be careful, aware of that, and careful in the way I play my Bastion with a lot of point inside. The Longhorn are almost unmanageable in this matchup. I think, yes, 39 of them. It's very hard to reduce them before I can fight them. So definitely not a matchup that I would want to try in a team tournament. I would mostly want to avoid it. Let's see how it goes. So deployment wise, I won the roll for side, so basically I gave an impassable for my opponent, and I picked this part of the map, basically having a hill here, I felt it's not too bad. So I decided to pick this side. My opponent very smartly tells me you can start to deploy. At which point I quickly see that I have less drop than him and less flexible drops than him. So I decided to drop for first turn and make a strong left flank by basically taking advantage from Dawn Assault deployment. So I placed the Great Weapon anointed on the left, then my brick of Great Weapon Warriors. Then we have the Nafta Thrower Titan. I expected here to have some bricks, so I felt it might be able to push and get some shots. Then the first chaff unit, the Bastion, the Anointed Brick, the second Slave, Lamassu, and the Kalim Titan, the Combat Titan. His counter deployment, he plays dogs here that vanguarded this way, so dogs, this is Wildhorn. Here you have the Mongrel with the Minolord, you have the BSB within the Longhorn, second dogs, a Mage Bunker with the Mage, a Cyclop in the back, dogs, Razor Tusk, 2 Longhorn in ambush, and the Cyclop on the right. So I think wise counter deployment for my opponent. Basically, he made sure that this matchup is not so bad for him. Also, facing the Bastion with the Minotaur is definitely good. The Longhorn facing the Anointed are probably his best capable unit to battle with my Anointed. So I think he made some smart choice, and here basically a single model that can be annoying, move to the flank and force my Titan to look in a weird way to basically protect all this flank. So to keep the Titan busy, basically. Okay, let's move on with turn 1. So I push to establish some board control. So as you can see, this is where I need to go. So basically I put it in the corner of his zone. So this is where I need to go to score at the end of the battle. So I have a lot of scoring unit around this part of the map, and he plays his just behind the Bastion. So basically he's telling me I'm going to get through you, Bastion, and go for the win. So the way I move turn 1, basically I make sure his Cyclop cannot move out of arc and the rest move a bit forward. I hide the Lamassu to not get shot at, and I push hard on the left flank. Basically I get 18-inch range from the Bastion to this dogs unit, which is nice because they are out of BSB but in range of general, so I felt it could force a panic check and potentially get rid of a chaff turn 1. In the magic phase I try breast weapon on 2 dice, but I roll the worst possible outcome, which is the double 2, so I don't fizzle and I fail the spell. And then I try to grave call on 4 dice and I fail as well, so nothing in range damage turn 1. His turn 1, his time to be unlucky. He marched the dogs inside the ruin, failed 2 DT, failed the panic check and moved back. So yeah, was funny. Doesn't allow him to push as much as he would have liked, because if he was able to chaff the Anointed, could have pushed a bit more with the Longhorn mainly. So he push a bit, but still respect what I can do. The Razor Tusk stay in the back, start to move his Cyclops sideways, and it's going to be annoying to the flank. And here just shuffles around a bit, move the Cyclops in between to get a monster in between and be annoying for me. In magic phase, he got Stone Skin on the Longhorn, basically making sure that those guys cannot charge here. Yeah, would be too risky. And then he gets catapult it on a 5-up 4+, and then I have a divine, so it's 5-up 5-up to reroll, and he gets 3 wounds of my Titan turn 1, which hurts a lot because I'm facing strong unity on the right and I'm already down to 4 wounds. My turn 2. Move my Titan a bit forward, move the slave forward, continue to hide Lamassu, push a bit the rest forward as I can, but still in safe mode. On the left I push also slightly, still in position to get good counter charge and basically have a look at the chaff. I was able, to charge with the slave onto the fleeing chaff to push it out of the map, so that was nice. Allowed me to get rid of the dogs, which is nice, but now the slave are in not a good position, but I can always flee any charge coming to the slave and then rally on leadership 9, so it's not too bad. In the magic phase, I got Rot Within this time, very lucky, 2 dice against 4 on his Longhorn, so this is really nice, starting to get them down. That's one pass for me to get to fight the Longhorn, is basically get multiple Rot Within to get them down to weapon skill 1. And then at some point I can get a fight here where he hits me on a 5 and I hit him on a 2s, and then 3+ rerollables, which means I can do a lot of damage in this unit. So let's try that. Then I get a breast weapon, I kill 7 dogs, leave 1 alive. I pass the panic check on a 9, so that's all good, but still 1 dog alive to chaff me. Let's move on to his turn 2. So he attempts multiple things. He attempts he charged the slave with his long horn, which I elected to flee. Then he redirects his charge. He has either an 11 on the Bastion or 12 on the Anointed. He tried the 12. Obviously, would be a game-breaking charge. It's low likelihood to happen, but if he gets that, I mean, I have almost no counter charge in place, and the Anointed have no chance to deal with so many long horns. So yeah, would be a nightmare for me. Fortunately for me, he fails that charge on 12. Other than that, he pushed, which surprised me a bit. He pushed a lot. His Razor Tusk hurt. I will come back to that in a moment. He continued to move sideways to get in position to counter charge and stuff. Why was he tempted to push that much is to go out of arc of my Kadim Titan, which is okay, but then it gets really close to me. So I felt, I wasn't surprised a bit by this move. He pushes Cyclops to chaff me, then he double chaff the Titan plus the Infernal Warrior, which would be a leadership check on a 9 non-rerollable. So again, taking some risk, but not too much of a risk because it's still long distance for the Warrior to get in, and he pushed his Wild Horn to the side. On the magic phase, he's going to get +1 attack on the Wild Horn here, so I don't care too much. I think it was mainly in case I can terror check him and get the multi-charge. He wants to get more attack, but I think it doesn't matter much. It's not the right target to cast a spell this turn, I would guess. And then he 4 dice Stone Skin against my 5 dice on the Longhorn, and I think it's a key moment in the game. Because here I have an easy charge on a 6 Swift Stride, yeah, 13 on those guys. And I think he cannot stand that charge, because if he hold, I can reform to his flank, and then it's a huge issue for him. So I think he cannot do that. He has to flee, meaning the only redirection that I can get is into the Longhorn, because here I don't fit and I don't see the Cyclops. So basically, if I can dispel the Stone Skin, I can try to go onto the Longhorn. They are reduced to weapon skill 3 due to the Rot Within, and I have Rot Within plus Hereditary to try to get them down a further point. I'm going to strike first, get reroll to wound, a lot of attacks, so I can probably kill like 20 something. Is going to strike back and heal, so it's not, I'm not going to win this battle. First round I'm going to win it, but I'm not going to win it on the long run. But it allows me then to push the Kadim Titan and try to get them later. So it's like a pass for me to victory, to get rid of this unit in a later stage. So it's like sacrificing the Anointed to get them in a later stage. So I felt this is a key moment. I 5 dice for the Dispel, but I failed the roll, and I think it's a key moment that's not going to allow the Anointed to get that charge. Which puts me in trouble, because now the Razor Tusk can also be a threat for me, because I have nothing else to charge them, basically. Let's move on to my turn 3. So I elect only one charge, which is the Infernal Warrior onto the chaff. Those guys stay a bit back. I'm able to get the slave to chaff this unit here. Here I use the Cyclops as a cover, basically. Being in his front means that he can only charge, but with few models, the Longhorn onto the Bastion, and then I have a counter charge setup that he cannot chaff. I push with my Titan in a corner way that only 3 models will be striking me, and for this guy it's like a middle charge, 7 on 2 dice, so it's a make or break. If he fails it, I think it's a dangerous charge for him. I place the Lamasseur to get leadership and a counter charge, and I rally the slave on a 9, and those guys move a bit back. As you can see, last round he was able to ambush in this zone, and I have basically nothing to deal with those guys. Even if I turn the Lamasseur, it's not enough to deal with them, so I was in trouble to manage this unit. So I'm going to turn around the Flamethrower and basically get a shot in the flank to get a lot of shots, and then it's a panic check on 8, which he could flee and move away, so that could be a problem to get rid of, and if he doesn't, then he's chaffed. So we'll see. I could have angled a bit better, as you will probably see later. I could have angled a bit more to look more at this zone, because it's the part of the map that I want to protect. So I could have been a bit angled more, I think, to be more, annoying for him. Okay, let's see how that goes. And magic phase, I try Rot Within on 2 dice, and again I roll a double 2. Not great. Then I get a Grave Call onto the Longhorn, trying to make some job on them. I kill 4 wounds. Then I do a Breast Weapon, which I get, and I kill another 2 Longhorn, and I did 4 wounds to the Bastion with 4 wounds to the Longhorn with the Bastion, so I kill a total of 10, which is not bad. We could debate whether or not I could have potentially do everything at the Cyclops, try to get rid of him, Then the long gun can charge my bastion. I think I can hold that, and I have a counter charge setup, and it has nothing to chaff me. So I think the right move would have been, let's kill the Cyclops. Try to get rid of him, because he's going to be annoying, can move around, and I have nothing else to deal with him. So I could get breast weapon and the shooting on the Gortak. Then the Gravecold we can debate, because he has MR3, so it's very complicated. But yeah, here I think maybe a small misplay for me. Nevertheless, here I roll a 1-2 hit for the shooting attack onto those guys, so I lost a wound and I don't force panic check. Close combat, I get rid of his chaff. He's turn 3. He attempted a double charge and he failed that charge on a 7 in my flank, which is huge. Get those guys in. He charged here. He elected against charging with the Cyclops or this unity on the left as well. Those guys move out of my line of sight, and those guys move a bit forward, but yeah, I was able to put a big distance here. This charge was not doable, so I had nothing really crazy to do with this unit. Here on the left, as you can see, I reformed 5 wide, so getting that charge would mean I would be steadfast and have counter charge, so it's not great as well. So he felt, let's move a bit forward to have a closer charge. He was still a bit too far away. I ambush with the second unit in the back of the Anointed, so I'm getting more pressure from the back line, and it's not so easy to deal with. So yeah, not easy. In the magic phase, he is able to heal 2 wounds from the Razor Tusk, so get 4th model to attack, which is obviously not great. He gets also Stone Skin off in the close combat. I choose against Binding Scroll, I guess. I kept it for later, but we will see. I was able to get, I forgot to mention, I was able to get reroll to wound on those guys on the last round with a spell. So at least here I have reroll to wound from the Titan attacks, which I felt it's already something important. Then he's able to get a catapult shot with him onto those guys, and I'm going to fail all 8 armor save on the 4-up that I have to make. So I lose 8 guys, which is big, because now they are not so much anymore. And close combat on the right, he's going to fail his fear check on 8 rollable. That's always the issue for Beastard. You have a lot of checks to make for primal and then fear check, and basically he's going to fail the fear check, which is key. I'm going to make 6 wounds to him. He's going to do 3 wounds to me, so I'm still alive, but he breaks. He loses by 2 plus the fear, so it's 6 rollable, I guess, for him. Yeah, the Minor Lord is here, so yeah, I think 6 rollable. That is not going to make, so I let him break. He flee that way, and I'm going to restrain to get a beautiful flank charge onto the mage bunker. So I think it's a great moment in the game for me to try to go for that. So my turn, I charge the Razor Tusk to push them out of the table because I couldn't fit here. I redirect on a 9, and then I charge this unit on the 8 Swift Stride. He elected to flee. Fortunately for him, he didn't roll the 8 or 9 that would push him out of the table. He rolled only a 6, so he's still in the table, and I fail charge. I push the Lamassu out of line of sight of the Longhorn. Here I turn around this guy to be in a counter charge position on the hill, and I have a line of sight to shoot on the flank of those guys, turn around those guys. Here I move a bit back with the Bastion, move a bit back with them. Yeah, basically that's how we are. Those guys move a bit forward. In the magic phase, I get... what I get? Yeah, Rot Within on the Longhorn, I think. Then I got a breast weapon that did nothing, and also another blast. I tried to do a couple of blasts. I think maybe Gravecold did also nothing. And then I get from him the shot on the Longhorn. I kill 3, but he passes the check on the 8, no reroll, which is quite important. So I'm still here occupied by those Longhorns. What's next? Turn 4, so he managed to reroll his bunker. Obviously, he double charge here. I couldn't flee that charge because those guys were blocking the Cyclops to charge the flank of them, which doesn't allow those guys to charge in. So if he gets a Cyclops, he can get combo charge, which is too dangerous for me. So I allow him to get the double charge. He will most likely, those guys cannot overrun into them, and him, it's depending how much he needs to nudge, but most likely he's not going to have an overrun here. So that's fine. He moves back. He elected here. As you can see, it's still a bit far away to get charges, so at the moment he defended against my Titan to not allow me to get any charge, and he elected not to charge the Titan with 1 wound left to avoid any scandal, just continue to shoot me basically. In the magic phase, and those guys here move sideways against my, they're looking that way, so they're on the flank trying to block my bastion from maneuver, basically. What else? In the magic phase, he got +1 attack on the big break. I dispel Stone Skin, and then with the catapult he kills the last one of the Titan. So very effective Cyclops. I think I have the stat. So that's the stat of shooting, wounding, getting through the ward save rollable that I have to reroll. So it's 22%, so over 4 turns he managed to do it 2 times. Yeah, nice for him. Killing the Titan is quite important right now, because as you can see, next round it's another march check, but then I can continue to push here to the back line, and he has to turn around something. It's not so, yeah, it's quite annoying for him. Move out with the Minotaur, do something to defend basically while he's attacking here in the south position. Okay, let's move on to my turn farms here, or react. So here, obviously I broke, he wasn't able, he left like 3 or 4 guys alive, so he wasn't able to overrun with the Cyclops to those guys. So he has to, he pursue with both, he catch me, and the Cyclops got the overrun onto my Cadim Titan, and those guys got stuck behind on my turn. So here I decided to go for the secondary objective. Since he has 1 scoring unit, I made some plan to try to win on secondary. So I elected to turn around those guys, move forward, and say, you can charge me in the back. You have a fear check to take, you have a primal take to pass, and maybe I can win it. I made the odd, I think I have a decent chance of winning it. Here we are stuck in combat. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to try to get reroll to wound, and then maybe get a pursue onto them and block them, which would be nice with a res 6 monster against strength 3 infantry. The Bastion pushes, basically hard for them to contact, so he can only get a few model, and I have a good counter charge behind that he cannot chaff, so that's enough for me. And I get the Lamassu and those guys to charge those guys. So basically what it open up, it's charge of them in the back of the Bastion. Nothing I can do. He could charge with them in the front, but he's not sure at all to get through. And then I could get nice counter charge off. So I felt that should be enough for me. He's facing a huge static res. The Minotaur can only strike at my champion. BSB against BSB, and then the rest is mongrel, so it's going to do pretty much nothing. And those guys in the back, yeah, obviously if he's full and I do nothing, he could disturb me, and then it's a game lost. So it's a huge risk that I take, but I didn't find any better solution here. And if he charges me in the back and doesn't get through, then he gets counter-charged by stuff also in those guys. So he might as well lose everything in the upcoming turn. So we will see if he goes for that. And then if he charges here, he goes out of the secondary objective as well. So we can go for the big win, but it could backfire for him, because he's going to nudge and be out of the secondary. So we will see what he decides to do. I basically gave him choice to make. In the magic phase, I get Rot Within on the Longhorn, and I get +1 armor save on the Bastion to protect me. I kill 8 mongrel with shooting. In case it decide to go for this fight, it's going to have more problems to break me, depending what he decides to do. I get alchemy onto the close combat of the Cyclops to get roll to wound. Close combat on the left, I do 4 wounds. He did 1 wound to me, so he lost by 2. He's out of every bubble. So basically it's a check like on the 6. He failed that, non-rerollable. I passed the panic check here that was rerollable on a 9, I guess. I pursue onto the Wild On, and that's it. Let's go for his turn. So his turn 5. Here we're stuck in combat. Like I said, here he charged me in the back, so he's going for it. Here he elected not to charge, just move in the front, and elected to not go for a gamble here, for a dicey fight, just move in front of the Bastion. He moved the Longhorn in the same way to reduce the impact. I have only 2 models in contact, and plays the Cyclops in counter charge, so I cannot go at him. And that's it. So he plays also safely and plays for the secondary. I would say a bit the same way that I try to, yeah, not the same way, but he elected not to go for the big win here and try to go for the Bastion, which is a choice that we can argue about. I think it depends a bit on the style. He tried to go for the secure win, so we'll see how that goes. And also, I think he wanted to avoid to have 3 fights to buff, because he needs to fight this one, which is key to avoid me getting secondary. He needs potentially to fight this one to win on the long run against the Titan. And then if he needs to buff another fight, I mean, that's going to be too much. So yeah, I think it's too much of a risk for him to get into so many fights. He elected to full buff those guys, try to win it, and then that would mean he wins secondary. If he stuck at least those guys, they cannot move next round, and he wins secondary. So in the magic phase, I Binding Scroll Stone Skin, obviously. He got -2 weapon skill somewhere. I think I don't know if I think it was on the Titan. No, maybe on those guys. I dispel the heal, and he gets the big heal with 3 dice against 3 on those guys, so he's full, I think, with those guys. Close combat on the left, he passes the primal, he passes the fear check, both on the 8, no reroll, but then he fluff a bit, managed only to do 2 wounds. Yeah, wounding on 4 up is not easy, and I managed to do 6 wounds to him between the stomps and my attacks, so I win by 2, because he has a charge on the back. I think I did 7 to his 5, charge and back. Yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, basically he lost by 2 with the fear, I think, taken into account. And he didn't pass the check on the 6, so he fled off the board. I restrain, which is also key, because if I pursue, if I pursue off the board, I cannot score anymore. So I restrain, and now I have a big choice to make: is do I want the charge on the 8 Swift Ride on the flank of those guys and the Bastion in the front, which if I get that in, it's a huge win. But if I fail the charge, I don't go into the secondary objective. The safe choice would be just to march those guys forward and here stay in front. I decided not to push my luck too much and just go in the zone. Here, what else? Yeah, here I think I did some casualties. He passed the 8 rollable. That's the wound that he can do on my Kadim Titan with the 28 attack reroll 2 hit. So it's obviously a bit dicey. I didn't take into account the primal and the fear, which I don't know how to simulate, but the attacks when everything is passed, basically it's between 1 and 2 wounds per round on the Titan, which is not that much, obviously. So he didn't do much this time. As you can see, he rolled poorly, did nothing to me. So here I march, here I stay in front, here I stay in front. It's my turn to minimize. And below I took the double charge. That's already the stat for the behind combat. We will see if it was a good idea or not to take both charges in. Obviously try to get rid of those guys. In the magic phase, he Binding Scroll the breast weapon, he Dispel Hereditary. I got Rot Within, I think here, but it was the wrong target. So I wanted to get reroll 2 wounds here, obviously. But I think the right target was here because it makes him hit worse and make me hit better. And I think last round, no, it's like that. So I should have got Rot Within here. I was too confident because of the 5 wounds left. Here, basically, Rot Within makes only the Lamassu strike on 3+ instead of 4+, which is only 4 attacks, so it's not much. So I think here, yeah, I got reroll 2 wounds here, and Rot Within here, which is a wrong choice. And then the Pentagram did also kill some Wildhorn, and I get reroll 2 wounds here as well. On the left, I kill another 5. He did like 1 wounds to me, and he passes the 8 rollable. And here, on this combat, that's the stat for the breast weapon. That's the Lamassu. That's the slave, and that's his stat with the long gun, depending how much I kill. So that's the stat with full, basically. So yeah, I fluff on the breast weapon. I did 0 wounds. Then I did like one or 2 wounds total with Lamassu. I didn't put the stomp, and here I did pretty much nothing. So total I did like 3 only, like 1 with the slave, 1 here, and 1 with the stomp, I would say. And he did a total of 8 wounds. So here's the stat striking at the slave, obviously. So yeah, quite a lot of wounds, as you can see. So yeah, all taken all of this into consideration, I'm losing, and the Lamassu broke, and those guys crumble a bit. So it's going to tie secondary at least. Let's move on to his 6. So as you can see, I still have 4 wounds left here, and not so many Wildhorn left. So I have hope. So we will see. He moved the BSB out, doesn't take any combat, and is going to buff it to magic. I dispel +1 attack 2 times on the Wildhorn. Then he gets the stone skin on the left, but I'm rerolling 2 wounds, so I'm not too worried. I just want to win combat. I just want him to avoid to strike better to kill me, basically. And what's going to end up in close combat? Those guys are going to crumble, obviously, so it's a tie secondary. And here on the left, I'm going to fluff, do only 1 wound. He's going to do 2 wounds to me, so he's rolling totally okay. And basically I'm losing by 2. I have a 7 rollable, I have 2 wounds left, I fail it, and the Kadim pops. So yeah, that's harsh. That's a lot of points. Here you can see the stats. So me doing only 1 wound is really low, as you can see. I should at least tie combat on average, so I'll lose maybe by 1 but not by 2. So yeah, that was harsh, but I could counter argue and say on 3 or 4 rounds of combat he can do 2 wounds per round and still kill me. So I think here what's worth remembering is the fact that I cast the wrong spell. I should have cast Rot Within to augment my odd of not dying and doing more damage. So I made the wrong choice and I got punished for that. And at the end, that's a huge amount of point difference here that's going to get. So it ended up being a 12-8, I forgot to mention, but with this secondary objective, the core unit only count half, so he only gets half points here, half points here, half points here, and I only get half points for the dogs, but I don't get the wild horn. So basically, yeah, huge swing at the end. The way I played it, I think I could have charged Lamassu alone, would have probably been better, get more chance to win this combat, and I make him at least try 2 times to get steadfast on the 8 with the fear, so 7. So I think it would have been better to charge the Lamassu alone. So I made this mistake, and the second mistake is not getting the right spell to help the Titan on the left, and got punished for that. Fleeing Lamassu, secondary objective tied, and killed Kadim Titan, and all of that together moves it from a win, like a 12, 13 I guess, to 8. So a lot of lessons learned here. Yeah, frontal battle, uncomfortable on the right, hard to push on the left. I think I could have been even more focus on the left, deploy even more, a bit more compact on the left, and be even stronger on the left. So I think potentially I could have like put the Titan, combat Titan also on the far left to push on the sideline. Would have been a great solution for me as well. I felt on the right my Titan was kind of blocked and was very lucky to escape from that and get rid of the Razortusk. So I could have been placing the Titan on the far left and push straight, and that would have been a bigger issue for my opponent to deal with. Yeah, turn 2 Beasted, so to recap, the Razor were too high, giving me this charge option, but he got the Keystone Skin off. Lucky turn of event for me on the right, obviously with my Kadim Titan, could have died, especially if he gets the combo charge, so I was really lucky to escape from this bad situation. 2 opportunities for bigger wins, so he could get that combo charge, but risking the secondary, and the same for me. Later on, we both decided to go for the safe choices. Turn 6, wrong decision with Rot Within and the combo charge, lost 4 points at least, and disappointing to lose the fight on the left. But like I said, I also have to say that my Titan dying after 3-4 rounds of combat without the buff to help him surviving is not a big scandal. Yeah, Rocket Titan was something I considered after the fight, because it would have been great to block the right flank, or basically to put Anointed would also have been an option to angle them, for example. But I was also like tempted to put the Great Weapon Anointed that ended up scoring close to the scoring zone that I need to reach, so stuff like that. Main unit unable to get favorable combat. I mean, we had no fight of the Longboard, no fight of the Minnow Boss, so which is a success for me, I think. Considering the matchup and the way we deployed, I'm pretty happy to escape without a fight. I think things could have been done probably better from my opponent point of view to get those type of fight in, and then to get his buff rolling and go in combat. Interesting secondary objective. I felt was really interesting to play something completely new, and I felt more interesting than Breakthrough, maybe because it's new, I would say, but definitely something that I think we should consider for ETC. I like especially the fact that we had to choose the point where we score at the end when we drop, so it's a huge impact also when deciding I want to drop for first turn, and I give information where I'm going to score to my opponent. Guys, I think that's all. Thanks a lot for watching the battle report, and talk to you soon on the channel.